Imagine scrolling through a social media feed with tens of thousands of posts, or browsing a massive product catalog, all with perfectly smooth performance. No lag, no waiting, no matter how much data there is. That's the power of optimized, virtualized infinite scrolling in React 19, built entirely from scratch, without relying on any third-party libraries. In today's fast-evolving web landscape, delivering seamless, responsive list experiences is not just a nice-to-have, it's a user expectation, especially in data-heavy applications like analytics dashboards, email clients, or media feeds. But rendering thousands of DOM nodes directly will cripple your app's performance, causing slowdowns, high memory usage, and frustrated users. The solution? Harnessing virtualization and infinite scrolling, techniques that render only what's visible on the screen and dynamically load more content as needed. With React 19's latest features, you can now build these high-performance lists natively, leveraging concurrent rendering and advanced data fetching patterns that keep your UI lightning fast and your codebase lean. In this tutorial, you'll discover how to architect and implement your own virtualized infinite list from the ground up. You'll gain hands-on strategies to maximize performance, minimize bundle size, and avoid the black box traps of generic libraries. By the end, you'll be equipped to build scalable, production-ready lists that handle massive datasets smoothly, customized exactly to your needs. If you're looking to future-proof your React skills, deliver superior user experiences, and stay ahead with the latest best practices, make sure to subscribe. You'll get access to deep dive tutorials like this one, continuous updates on new React capabilities, and practical solutions to real-world problems, helping you build better apps faster. Imagine walking into a library filled with millions of books. If you needed to find information, you wouldn't want to see every book laid out on the floor. That would be overwhelming, disorganized, and impossible to navigate. Instead, you'd want a system that only shows you the books relevant to your current search or section, revealing more as you move through the library. This is the core analogy for virtualization and infinite scrolling in user interfaces, especially when working with massive datasets. In web development, especially with React, rendering every item in a list, whether it's 10,000 posts in a social feed or 100,000 products in an e-commerce catalog, directly correlates to putting every book on display in our library analogy. The browser gets bogged down, users experience sluggish scrolling, and memory usage skyrockets. Virtualization is the technique that solves this. It renders only the items that are currently visible in the viewport, plus a small buffer zone above and below to ensure seamless interaction as the user scrolls. Think of virtualization as a moving window over the dataset. As you scroll, the window slides along, and only the items within this window are rendered to the DOM. Items outside the window are simply not present in the DOM at all, which keeps the memory footprint tiny and the UI snappy. This approach isn't just a performance hack, it's a foundational architectural strategy for scalable user interfaces. Now, pair virtualization with infinite scrolling. Infinite scrolling is a pattern where, as the user approaches the end of the currently loaded data, you fetch and load more items behind the scenes, extending the dataset as needed. This is akin to a librarian who, seeing that you're nearing the end of a shelf, quickly stocks the next set of books before you arrive, making the transition invisible to you as the reader. Together, virtualization and infinite scrolling create an illusion. The user perceives an endless, smooth list, while under the hood, only a handful of items are rendered at any time, and data is loaded just in time. This technique is essential for modern web applications that handle large, dynamic content, social media feeds, extensive product listings, or massive email inboxes. By mastering these principles, developers ensure that users experience fast, fluid, and memory-efficient interfaces, regardless of the underlying data volume. To appreciate the power and necessity of building custom virtualized infinite lists in React 19, it's helpful to contrast this approach with the use of third-party libraries like React Window or React Virtualized. While these libraries offer robust, battle-tested solutions, they come with their own trade-offs, like increased bundle size, rigid abstraction layers, and delayed support for the latest React features. Building your own virtualized infinite list in React 19 is like crafting a custom-fit suit rather than buying one off the rack. With off-the-shelf libraries, you get a generalized solution that may include features you don't need, and sometimes you're forced to adapt your app's architecture to fit the library rather than the other way around. Custom implementations, on the other hand, allow for complete control over behavior, appearance, and performance optimizations tailored to your exact use case. React 19 introduces new capabilities that make native virtualization and infinite scroll not only feasible, but highly performant. Features like concurrent rendering enable the UI to remain responsive even during heavy data operations. Enhanced suspense and data fetching patterns let developers elegantly handle asynchronous loading states. Hooks such as use sync external store offer robust ways to subscribe to external data sources, like scroll positions, without risking stale or inconsistent state. The use deferred value hook smooths out UI updates during rapid user interactions, like flicking through a list at high speed. Imagine building a social feed where posts stream in as the user scrolls, with buttery smooth performance and zero lag, all while maintaining a lean bundle size. By relying solely on React's built-in hooks and features, you avoid the black box nature of third-party libraries. You can debug, extend, and optimize every line to fit your app's needs. You also sidestep library version mismatches or slow upgrades when new React features are released, ensuring that your app is always at the cutting edge of performance and best practices. In essence, building a custom virtualized infinite list in React 19 grants developers the benefits of minimalism, flexibility, and future-proofing. It's the difference between driving a high-performance racing car designed for your track and using a generic bus that tries to serve every passenger. For applications where user experience and scalability are paramount, this custom approach unlocks the full potential of modern React. This is the main application file that integrates the virtualized infinite list. It demonstrates state management for data, async loading with React 19 concurrent rendering, and passes all required props to the virtualized list component. It also includes a mock API for simulating asynchronous data fetching, and provides a sample item renderer. This file contains the core virtualized list component, which uses the use virtual window and use infinite loader hooks to efficiently render only the visible slice of items and trigger asynchronous data loading as the user nears the end of the list. It handles the virtualization window, overscan, and loading indicator. This hook calculates the visible window of items for virtualization, given the scroll position, container, and item sizes, and a buffer for overscan. It provides the indices of the items to render and the offset for absolute positioning. This hook manages the logic for triggering data loading as infinite scrolling approaches the end of the currently loaded items. It prevents duplicate loads and exposes a function to be called on scroll updates. This component renders each list item with stylings, alternating background, and accessibility features. It also demonstrates the use of stable keys and is designed to be used within the virtualized list renderer. This CSS file provides basic styling for the application, including font selection, background color, and heading styles, ensuring a clean and readable UI. This is the entry point for the React application. It sets up the root React DOM node and applies global styles. This HTML file provides the basic page structure with a root div for React to mount into. This packaged JSON file declares the dependencies, scripts, and development tooling required for the project, targeting React 19 and common build test tools. This Babel configuration enables modern JavaScript and React JSX transformation, supporting the project's build process. This Webpack configuration enables module bundling, development server setup, Babel transpilation, and CSS imports for the React project. The application opens to a clean interface displaying a header titled Virtualized Infinite List, React 19. Immediately beneath the header, the main scrollable list area is visible. The list presents a sequence of items, each styled with alternating backgrounds and displaying a label such as ba1 item nar 0, 2 item nar 1, and so on. Only a portion of the items are visible on screen at any one time, with the scroll bar indicating that much more content is available. For a few moments, the loaded items are visible, and the user can see that the list is populated and ready for interaction. The scrollable list is scrolled downward in several smooth steps. As the list moves, the visible items update rapidly, always displaying only the portion of the large dataset that is currently in or near the viewport. Occasionally, as the user approaches the end of the currently loaded items, a loading round indicator briefly appears at the bottom of the list, signaling that more data is being fetched on demand. Once new items are loaded, the list seamlessly extends and scrolling continues. Throughout this process, scrolling remains snappy and responsive, with no noticeable lag or stutter, regardless of the number of items loaded so far. After several scrolls, the list is scrolled all the way to the bottom, triggering a final loading sequence as the last batch of items is fetched and displayed. The user then interacts with the list using keyboard navigation. With the list container focused, pressing the down arrow key moves the selection downward, highlighting successive items. After several downward key presses, pressing the up arrow key moves the selection back up, demonstrating accessible keyboard navigation. Pressing the page down key scrolls a larger portion of the list at once, quickly jumping the viewport further down the dataset. The currently focused item is visibly highlighted, showing clear visual feedback for keyboard navigation. After pausing for a moment to show the focused state and the efficient virtualization, the demo continues. If a network error occurs during loading, an error banner appears at the top of the list, providing a clear message and a retry button. Clicking retry triggers another loading sequence, and once resolved, the list resumes normal operation. The footer section is brought into view, displaying additional information and external links. Hovering over the React 19 docs link highlights it, followed by a similar interaction with the source code link, providing visual feedback on both. The current count of loaded items updates in real time in the footer, reflecting the number of items successfully loaded and rendered so far. Finally, the list is scrolled smoothly back to the top, revealing the initial items once again. The entire experience demonstrates high performance, seamless infinite loading, responsive virtualization, accessibility through keyboard navigation, and robust error handling, all without reliance on third-party libraries. The interface remains stable and fluid throughout, regardless of the dataset size or user interactions. Everything you've seen in this tutorial empowers you to build lightning-fast, scalable infinite lists in React 19 without relying on bulky third-party libraries. This approach means your apps stay lean, your users get the snappiest possible experience, and you remain in full control of both performance and UI. By mastering custom virtualization and infinite loading, you'll solve real-world challenges for data-heavy apps, think social feeds, catalogs, and analytics dashboards, with techniques that set you apart as a React developer. Ready to unlock more advanced patterns, practical demos, and deep dives tailored to real business needs? Hit subscribe now. Each new video is packed with actionable strategies that accelerate your professional growth and help you ship better products faster, keep building, and keep pushing the limits of what React can do.